Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, ParkHowell. Park is a business and brand storytelling consultant, keynote speaker, and podcast host. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, ParkHowell. Park, welcome.
Siddique, thank you for having me here. Pleasure being on your show.
Likewise, let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
You know, I grew up in a household where they really encouraged arts and music, and I played the piano, and I got a degree in music composition and theory. And I always loved, because of that, this idea of commerce, creative commerce, and where those intersections come together, which led me into the advertising world. And today now I really teach on the power of story using my music composition and theory, studies with really story composition and theory studies to help brands excel through the stories they tell. But I can date it all the way back to when I was a little kid and I was writing all of those songs. I just loved it.
Wonderful. What are the top 3 mistakes to avoid?
The top 3 mistakes to avoid is the old idea of build it and they will come, meaning you think you have a great product or service out there, and you probably do, and you kind of sit back and just wait for people to show up at your doorstep to buy it. Doesn't work. You've got to be out there promoting and telling your story often and everywhere, it seems like these days, to cut through. Number 2, pay attention to your bottom line. Spend less than you make. Basic advice. It came from my Depression era father, but has served me well throughout the years, but you have to really pay close attention to it. And then number 3 is just do what you say you're going to do. I believe success is 50% showing up and 50% following up, which means you got to be there 100% of the time. And that those 3 values or ideals have guided me well throughout my career.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
What is my greatest failure story? Maybe my greatest failure story is running my ad agency for too long. I ran my company, ParkHowell, in Phoenix, Arizona for 20 years. I really enjoyed it for the first 10 years. I needed to go through a reinvention that, like most people, I was reluctant to do. We all love status quo and what we believe is the safety of status quo. So I spent the next 10 years trying to figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And in hindsight, I wish I would have had the courage to make that change earlier. And what I would have done, Siddique, is I would have pivoted away, as I ultimately did, from a traditional ad agency working in the digital world to what I believe is a much greater impact today. And that is helping leaders like yourself and your viewers here really understand their own story, their brand story, and how to communicate it clearly, concisely to customers so that they can get the impact in the world they seek. I feel like I lost 10 years in helping people make that impact while I was trying to figure out what I was going to do next. So my guidance there would be, if the universe is telling you to do something else and is punching you in the nose and keeping you awake at night, then by golly, listen to it, dig deep, find out what your story is, and live that journey.
What are your top 3 success secrets others can model from? Before you answer it, I just want to make sure we are greedy when it comes to knowledge, and please give us your best ones, okay?
My top 3 successes you're asking.
Yeah.
I would say number 1, one of them that I'm most proud of in business. So we're going to set the family aside because they're my number 1 across the board. Raising a healthy and great family of 3 kids, and my wife, we've been married almost 34 years now. But in business, my very first one I like to think of the most is helping a community health center in Arizona, which was nearly going out of business, had been around for 33 years, and all kinds of things had conspired against it. Help them redefine their brand story.
Park, 1 second. I don't mean to interrupt you. However, let me restate my question. What are your top 3 success secrets that others can model from?
Oh, success secrets. I'm sorry, I missed the secrets part.
Yeah.
Top success secrets is learn how to tell your story. Stop leading with logic and reason, features and functions. Your clients and customers don't care. You have to connect with them on their terms, emotionally, because when was the last time you bought anything because of the data? You don't. You buy it with emotion. You justify your purchase with the heads. Number one. Number two, you and your brand are not the center of your brand story. Your audiences are. Understand them, empathize with where they are on their journey, and then share a story that connects their world with yours and how you can help them get what they want out of life. And then you have to deliver on the promises you make in that story. Story is so powerful, it's going to beckon them in. I say use story to hack through the noise and hook the hearts of your customers, and then you absolutely positively have to deliver on that story. The third success secret is simply do what you say you're going to do. I know that seems really obvious, but it's disheartening when you're out there in the world and people just don't do what they say they're going to do. I think you do those things, you can't help but be successful.
Wonderful. We are getting into the lightning round. That means quick question and quick answers, probably 10-second answers.
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
You betcha.
What are you grateful for today?
I am grateful for the new home my wife and I built in northern Arizona, where I can sit and talk to you. On the other side of this screen is a beautiful lake in the mountains. And we got out of Phoenix, Arizona through a lot of hard work. And we are living our dream up here in northern Arizona.
Wonderful. How young are you?
I am 60 years young, just turned 60 on Valentine's Day. And now that all your viewers know that, I expect cards next year.
You are not 60.
I am.
You are 18 years old with a 42 years experience.
I like that.
What you want to do when you grow up?
I want to continue to help people really embrace their own personal story, find the courage to follow that. That's what I'm doing now with lots of leaders around the world, and then show them how to share that story so that they can have the impact in the world they want to make. I feel like if I can help a million people do that, then I can have anything in the world I want, but I will have already achieved it by helping that many people.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
Mindfulness, first and foremost. So I'm like anybody else. I'll get all shaken up over it, and then I will meditate, and I will bring myself back to the current moment. I will settle my brain down. And then from there, I will often go for a hike, get some exercise, and work through the problem to figure out what the solution is going to be.
How do you start your day?
Start my day with meditation and then coffee. Now that it is warming up here and the snow is gone, I will start with a 5-mile hike with my golden doodle Hazel. And we love to hike up to a point called Crystal Point here. And it's wonderful exercise, clear air, and that's what will get me going.
What is the advice you will give to younger yourself?
My younger self was follow your bliss, as Joseph Campbell, America's foremost mythologist, said, because doors will open where there were only walls before, and I am living proof of that. Now following my bliss as a story coach and a story consultant, it has opened up doors such as being invited to Richard Branson's Necker Island just last month and spending a week there with him and some clients working through their stories. So I'm living proof that when you follow your bliss, doors will open where there were only walls before.
Wonderful. Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
I don't usually have to. Michelle and I, in lockstep, we do think differently in a lot of things, but I don't have to do a lot of convincing. She understands, appreciates, she'll push back. If I end up having to do a lot of convincing, then I'm probably wrong, and I listen to her. So I'm very fortunate in that respect that we listen to each other, and there isn't a lot of convincing that needs to be done.
What is the impactful book you have read? What did you learn from it?
One of my favorite is Jim Stengels Grow. This book came out, I think, in around 2008. I think for any brand or business out there, if you really want to understand what makes you tick and how to talk about it, this is the first step. Read that book and then come and see me, and I can help you clarify your story, which will amplify your impact and ultimately simplify your life.
Why being impactful is important to you?
Well, it's impact is just the opposite of boredom. If you are boring people, you are not making an impact. If you're out there really having an impact in the world and changing people for the better and changing things for the better, then I don't know what else. Why else are we here on this planet? Homo sapiens are meant to live into brighter futures and to create those with people. That's why impact to me is so important. And that's why one of the foremost enemies that we battle with storytelling is boredom. Because when, again, excuse me, when were you bored into buying anything? Use stories to hack through the noise and hook the emotional hearts of your customers to make the impact in the world you seek.
Who is your mentor and what's the impact?
One of my great mentors is Joseph Campbell, America's foremost mythologist. Now, he's been long gone for about 30 years, so I never got to meet the man, but his teachings have showed me this guidebook to life that shows up in the stories that we love. And I found the power of this guidebook that I created, the story cycle system, in my book, Brand Bewitchery, which will teach you how to use this system to craft and tell compelling stories that sell. So Campbell was one of my my great impacts in my life. And then I've got a good friend by the name of Dr. Randy Olson, who has taught me, evolutionary biologist, Hollywood filmmaker, who has taught me all about the biology of the brain and evolution and how story has played such a prominent role in that. And that's, what I bring to my world. And then number three, my parents. I was very, very, very fortunate to be raised by two incredibly generous parents that raised 7 of us kids. My father passed away a couple of years ago from Alzheimer's at the age of 91. My mother just turned 96 2 days ago. And I have taken so many wonderful life lessons from my dad and my mom that they're right at the top of the charts, top of the heap of my most powerful mentors.
What do you want to be remembered for?
To be a good guy that helps people, that is there for them, and I'm not always perfect and I can blow it just right alongside everybody else. But with me is what you see is what you get. And I'll try to help in any way I can.
Who is your ideal client?
My ideal client is a challenger brand, someone that's coming into the market or has been in the market. They've been around. They have a great business model. They maybe have invented a category and are really running with it, but now they're attracting in competition. They've gone to their investors for more money, and their investors are saying, "What's your story?" And they say, "We don't have one yet." They're hiring people, and they don't have them all marching in the same direction because they don't have their story dialed in, but they're eager to do it. That is my ideal customer because I get to work with the founder. Typically, they're motivated to make immediate improvements. And so then I can get in and I can teach them story, help them tell their brand story, bring their people along, and really demonstrate measurable impact within just a couple months in doing that. That is my ideal customer.
How can we support you?
How can you support me? Well, listen to my podcast. I do it every Monday. Been around for 6 weeks. At businessofstory.com. And come on over. I've got all sorts of free tips, talents, techniques there that you can use. And then if you'd like me to help you with your brand story, give me a shout. One other thing, Siddique, that I do is I do a Build a Better Brand Story Sprint, which is 3 weeks, 6 live sessions with me, a cohort of just 10 people. And what we do is we help you clarify your story and teach you how to tell it in a very short amount of time so that you can get a leg up on your competition. You can also learn more about that at businessofstory.com.
Wonderful. Businessofstory.com.
Yep.
What would you say about your today's guest experience on the show?
About your guest experience, I think this has been great. Very well prepared. I appreciate it. And it's just been lovely to be here with you.
What would you say as a final word?
Say my final word, that as you are going through life and maybe you are going to start studying story now more than ever, I want you to remember that the most potent story you'll ever tell is a story you tell yourself. So make it a great one.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Park, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.
Thank you so much.